you all rise to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart.
Here.
Councilwoman Hudak.
Here.
Councilman Lord.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. I bit my tongue about 2 days ago, and I can't talk too well, so Liz is going to do most of the reading tonight. She's going to do the tough words, and I'll do the easy ones. Okay, notation of exits in the front, in the rear, and the electronic device. Please put it on vibrate. Make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First item on the work session this evening is discussion 306, 308 Teneta Lake Road, tax map number 56.12-1-1, connection to Blackberry Sewer. Are you here?
Yes.
Evening, Michael.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Michael LaCoury. I'm an attorney at Hogan and Rossi here in Brewster, New York. I represent Warren Paulkner. Warren resides at 306 Teneta Lake Road. Warren has, or I, on behalf of Warren Paulkner, have submitted a petition to the town board dated December 5th, 2016, to permit an extension of the Blackberry Sewer District to encompass Warren's property in order to connect his improvements to the district. Warren's property is improved by a single-family residence that is 800 square feet, and then a garage with an apartment above the garage, and 2 independent septic systems, one to serve the one for each residence. In connection with legalizing the use on his property, we've gone to the Zoning Board of Appeals, obtained the necessary variances to permit the 2 structures to exist in the configuration that they're in. Went to the Putnam County Health Department in order to obtain a septic approval for purposes of designing a conforming septic system to handle the capacity from both residences. They examined our the first septic system, which serves the 800 square foot residence. That was a septic system that was installed prior to any regulation whatsoever. It's in an area of the property of the front corner by the highway, in an area that's wet. The suggestion of the health department was to abandon that system and try to create a new system. We attempted to design a conforming septic system. The design that we were able to achieve was a system that required a significant amount of fill. It would have been elevated. We felt that it would impact the character of the neighborhood, be too expensive to build. So we petitioned the town board in order to connect, which would require a remapping of the district and the installation of a sewer connection pipe, which would be about 300 feet from his property to the nearest junction for the sewer plant. So that petition has been in front of the board since December of 16. In April of 17, we had some legal questions that were posed to us by the town board. We resolved them, went back to the zoning board to get our variances in place. Those are in place, so now we're back at the town board trying to complete the connection.
Okay. Board have any questions?
No, it's been a long road to hoe.
Yeah, just to build the pipe.
Mike, we asked you here this evening to make that presentation. Also, later in the meeting, we're going to set a public hearing for this.
Great.
Which you'll have to attend. And so for your record, that'll be on Thursday, April 12th, 2018 at 7 p.m., same location.
Fantastic.
So we test tonight and be here for that.
So will Mr. Paulkner have to pay sewage fees to Blackberry?
Yes.
There'll be two fees that are paid. One is a connection fee, which is $1,900, and that reflects a capital contribution, so that he is on par with other residents in Blackberry that have paid capital over the years, and then he would have a usage fee as well.
Will his fee be different than the people that reside in Blackberry?
No, it would be identical.
Okay.
And that capital contribution is to make sure that he is on par with them, so he doesn't achieve any greater benefit than anyone else.
And Michael, who pays for the connection itself?
Mr. Parkner.
Okay, so it does not go, that is not,
It's not a town expense.
or a BlackBerry?
Or a district, no.
District expense.
No, as a matter of fact, Warren has paid for Tom Fenton to review the plans, application fees to the various boards, and obviously any inspections that are required, the construction and any of the requirements that go along with it, are all the cost of Mr. Parkner and run to the district.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send you a memo to remind you.
What?
I said I'd send them a memo to remind them of the public hearing.
Great. Do I do the notice on that? I wasn't sure if it was me or if it was the board, and we're happy to do it. I just
Well,
wanted to make sure.
you've already, have you noticed anyone as yet?
Well, the petition is a little different. It's not like a variance where we would have to notify anybody within
We're gonna advertise it in the next edition of the paper.
in the newspaper.
Yes,
Okay,
we will be
fantastic.
taking that responsibility.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next is chapter 134-3E, 134-5, vehicles off-road. Liz, you want to handle?
Yeah, I wanted everyone to know that we had a discussion the last time we were at this meeting, before the great snows came. What we're doing is we're trying to consider a way that permits reasonable, non-recreational, or utility use of ATVs. That was what we were doing. We're going to still consider that. We're going to be studying more different ways how to do this. But at this point in time, what I'd like to do, and I think on behalf of the entire board, is to make a general statement that we don't support the use of ATVs for any sort of a harassing way to harass your neighbor, et cetera. We think that responsible use of ATVs is the way to go, or recreational vehicles, however it's described, but right now we're still examining exactly how we're going to, if we do, modify any of the code provisions that we have relative to that. So that's what I'd like to say. I don't know if anyone else would want to chime in on that, but I think that's the most of a statement that at this point in time I think we can make prior to having a lot more research into the issue.
I would agree. I think we wouldn't want to prohibit someone from using an ATV, say, to plow their driveway or for legitimate yard work, but I'm certainly not ready to consider a change in the law at this point.
Correct.
I agree. I think the law has served its purpose the way it is now. The reason we had it on an agenda, I guess the last time, was because a resident brought it to our attention that there could be other ways of looking at the law, but I don't think there's any reason to change it at this time. And as Liz said, we're looking into it. We're considering other arguments, but I believe that the law should stay the way it is.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, anyone from the public who wishes to speak?
How you guys doing? Dennis Santucci, 5 Shady Lane. I agree with John. The law should stay the way it is. The law is modeled off of a lot of other municipalities, West Seneca being one. West Seneca went to an appellate's decision, and it stated, simply put, the evidence on the record, a change in establishes that a change in this law would establish would increase already existing problems, including noise level in the neighborhood, a number of incidents of physical damage and trespassing of neighboring properties, and the potential for the neighboring landlords to be held liable for injuries occurring on their property. Basically, if you're riding closer than 100 feet of your property line and you lose control of your vehicle, you're gonna end up in a neighboring property. And therefore, then the neighbor's gonna have a problem. We have to look at the facts. There was a big report done by Darren and Steinberg a few years back in 2015. It was regarding issues on my property, but you got this guy that flew off the racetrack and ended up on a piece of construction equipment, and he was basically medevaced off the property. So if you have people riding closer than 100 feet of the property line, you're putting the neighbors in danger. Also, Mr. Skolasky presented this change in legislation. He states in his letter to Tony Hay that he'd like to be able to use his quad to ride, to snowplow his driveway. Right? I've owned the property, my property, which is the abutting property, since 2013. Mr. Skolasky bought the property in 2013 also. We've never seen him have a quad on the property except for one occasion, and during that occasion, it was his son recklessly driving this quad at a very loud pace and whatever, right up to the property line. The son, since then, has been in a state lockup. I think he's going to be released real soon, in the next couple of months, but not because of that issue, but other issues. But you have reckless people driving these ATVs. It's crazy. I also foiled, how many times in the last 5 years has Mike Levine issued violations for riding ATVs within 100 feet of the property? I got back that there was one time in April of 2017 that it has been cited. So there's no urgency here. It seems like this law is not bothering that many people. It happens to be bothering me because of the racetrack next door and the guy, Mr. Skolasky's son, riding recklessly. But it doesn't seem to be bothering that many people that the town is citing this issue. And like I said before, it's modeled off a lot of other municipalities, as Elizabeth Hudak mentioned in other meetings, that, when the town does legislation, the best thing is to model it off of other municipalities. And this thing is identical to West Seneca's law and many other laws of the town. So I think that the town board should abandon their pursuing the situation of looking to change this legislation. And it should be done at this meeting, so this way, going forward, gives my family a little bit of peace. As everyone knows, we just got a decision from the zoning board in January of this year that says the neighbor next to me, Mr. Heineke, is not allowed to ride motocross anymore on his property because he doesn't have 100 feet in any direction. And it seems that it's very, your timing for this law to come up into effect, to have a change, is very, it's just very bad timing, all right? I think that's all I have to say. Also, the fact that Mike Levine, on Shady Lane, has written down and documented that he would not enforce riding within 100 feet of the property line. Very selective enforcement. So if you guys change the law in any way, well, that's given sanctuary to too many people.
Now, when you say he has it written down, can you provide us with that written documentation, please?
Sure.
You don't have to do it now, you can just send it to
I'll do
us.
it right now. Here's a letter from Mike Lagori to,
No. You said Michael Levine, did you not?
yes, here's a letter from Mike Lagori to the ZBA, and in the letter, it talks all about how Mike Levine basically says he's not going to enforce riding on 100 feet. Mike, can you confirm that?
Yeah, I'll just clarify for the board. So, the board may be aware, we challenged the legality of the motocross track on the Heineke property. And in the building department's 24-month investigation of whether or not the track was permitted to whether it was legitimately constructed in accordance with the town's regulations and whether or not Chapter 134 3E applied. The building department determined that Mr. Heineke would have been required to obtain a fill permit under Chapter 69 to import the fill onto the property to construct the track. However, he was referred to the planning board for a fill permit, but the building inspector made a determination that even though the noise ordinance applied, he would not enforce it against Mr. Heineke. So
Now, you're talking the noise ordinance, not the 100-foot rule.
that's, just so the board is clear, Chapter 134 is your noise ordinance.
But we were talking the 100-foot.
That 100-foot is in your noise
I
ordinance.
get that.
This is
but-
a noise regulation.
Mr. Hay, he specifically said he will not.
I just wanted to see it.
And that's in a written part
Yes,
of that?
yes, we have a writing from the
Okay.
building, it's in a memorandum to the town board,
We'll find
to
it.
Tony.
July 13th of 2017, I believe.
That's right.
Okay.
But just so the board is aware, Chapter 134 is not a land use regulation. There's confusion about this because it touches land, but it's not a land use regulation. It's your noise ordinance. And that's one of the major issues about opening the door to allowing alternative type vehicles for maintenance, usage for maintenance on your property, is that, it's more likely than not. I don't know we don't have any, particular numbers about how many people in town own ATVs or UTVs or motorcycles. But the issue is, it's noise. It's because many of these vehicles have straight pipes. They have a version of a muffler, but it's not very quiet. And these are things that are very disturbing, particularly in areas that are of high density. So, if you look at the areas of town that have very significant, land masses, sure, hey, you stay outside of the 100 feet, you could do whatever you want. Your noise ordinance already provides for that. But when you get close to a property line and you get to an area that's dense, go to your 2-acre zone, go to your 1-acre zone, and you fire up your ATV and put a cart on the back of it, trust me, your neighbors are going to hear it. It'll rattle windows. I know from my own experience, I started representing Dennis a few years ago, and ironically, in the middle of the representation, I had a neighbor start a motocross track right across the street from my house. And I'll tell you, I have 2 kids that ride around on ATVs. They're about, let's say, 300 feet away, and they rattle the windows of my house. So if you went to any dense area of this town, much of which is dense now, go to Indian Wells, go to any of the subdivisions, Spring House, go to Scott Place, Tenetta Lake, and fire up an ATV and ride it around. They are loud, they are disturbing, and your noise ordinance was adopted particularly to avoid that. And if you amend it to allow whatever it is, you're opening up Pandora's box to all of these occasions to occur. Just because somebody said, hey, I want to plow my driveway with an ATV, after we've all presented, Dennis has presented evidence that the only time a ticket's been issued has been once. It's not, we don't think it's the major concern, that it's a concern enough for the town board to take it up, particularly immediately after we got a decision from the zoning board that Chapter 134E has to be applied to Mr. Heineke. It looks terrible. It smacks of them just waiting for the zoning board to make a decision so that they can come to the town board and get relief from the town board. It looks bad, and I just think it's bad for the town.
I think that's, obviously, how we began tonight is by
Understood.
saying that at this point in time, we had a town resident come in and make a request. Certainly, town residents have that desire
Right.
to have us look at something, examine it. So at this point in time, like I said, we responded. It doesn't mean that we're going to have a yay or a nay. You've already heard John over here say what his piece is. It was just a matter of being responsive. And, once again, as you know, it could be fraught with hazards, as you're saying right now. I believe that it was quite coincidental. Everybody can have their opinion as
Sure.
far as the timing of the zoning board determination, et cetera, but What I'm saying to you right now is, it does not, right now, we are not taking any other action. And, you know, studying it from the viewpoint of, you know, would it make any sense, armed with the knowledge that it is in the noise ordinance, armed with the knowledge that there, I mean, I had people who lived near me who rode those ATVs around.
There's
so-
a track actually in between, I think, where your subdivision is, or where you resided, and just behind the Skolasky property, actually, there's a second track. We saw it in an aerial photo, but,
Right.
but we know from talking to the neighbors, Liz, first of all, thank you, we appreciate that, and I hear what you're saying.
Right, I think it was a matter of responding,
Yes,
and then hearing people speak more about it, and then at this point, seeing if anything more should be done, but maybe nothing more would be done. But I just wanted to make certain at this work session that you knew that, or everyone knew, including the resident in question, that, you know, we took it under consideration, may still take it under consideration, but it's not gonna be taken under consideration now.
and thank you, we appreciate it.
And the only thing is, Mr. Santucci, can we, this, what you were handing us, the Zarin and Steinmetz matter, the memo, I'm just gonna ask that we can just have a copy of that picture.
That book was given to Tony Hay back
I
in
know.
2015. You already have it.
Right.
But you can have that whole book.
I just
That's fine.
wanted the picture that you were showing, just for the clerk's records.
And I'll submit a copy to the board of the July 13th decision from the building inspector.
Terrific.
It's about 1.5 inches thick, but really the 3 pages of the decision are what's relevant. The town already has that in its records. The town clerk has it in their files, but we're happy to submit it because it is clear
We got the,
in it.
Yep.
Could you guys do my family a favor? Vote tonight, yay or nay. This way gives my family peace of mind, because it seems, to keep it up and keep it open, seems retaliation to me. And it gives my family, after 5 years of a struggle, that we finally got a ZBA ruling, then it's still open. There's no peace here.
Well, Ms. Santucci, there is nothing to vote
Vote
for
on.
or against tonight. There is no local law. This was, the last time we were here, it was a discussion. And what you've just heard is that discussion will not be on the next meeting, and it has been, at this point in time, terminated. What I can assure you is that there is no way that we can vote yea or nay tonight. All I can suggest to you is we are not going to have this, at least I don't believe, in the near future on any of our agendas.
So this discussion is over for the near future? What is the near future, a year?
All I can say is I can't predict a heck of a lot, but what I do know is, at this point, you know, what a near future subjectively is to you and me, God knows. But I can assure you that if this does come back again, that it will be on an agenda. I'm certain that your family and you will know about it. Right now, it seems that we've spoken quite a bit about it, to the extent that it is not going to be on another agenda. And any studies that we do, if they prove to be something that we can bring forth to another work session, then, you know, quite frankly, I think it'll be in the agenda, and I think you'll know right away.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
And there
Thank
would
you.
have to be a public hearing. I mean, there's a lot of
There's
steps,
a lot of
too.
steps.
There are a lot of steps.
okay, item number 3 is discussion town vehicle policy. We've had this on the agenda numerous times. Anyone to speak to that? Anyone here on the board? The public? Seeing none, I will move on now to the regular portion of the meeting. First one is correspondence, waive the
You
reading
have
of,
to make a motion.
okay, make a motion to go to the
Open the
regular
meeting.
portion of the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to waive the reading of the correspondence. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the voucher list, 1,260,000. You do it.
I'm about to say, $1,267,457.22.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So move for discussion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Setting of meeting dates and public hearings. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Thursday, April 12, 2018, there will be a public hearing on item number 1, which was discussion tonight of 306, 308 Tenetta Lake Road, tax map number 56.12-1-1, connection to Blackberry Sewer. And the second date is Thursday, April 26, 2018. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, waive the readings of the budget transfers. Number 5, it's a resolution, the ARB recommendation of Medicare.
Not
Mr. Scott,
Mechanics.
Medicanics,
what did I say?
Medicare.
It's close.
Well, that is
My,
close.
my face keeps like this. I'll be on Medicare quick. Eat it, Peter. Now, Peter, one thing you gotta promise us, when this is done, it's gotta look something like this, okay?
It will.
Because that looks very nice. So we'll let you make a presentation and then we'll deal with the resolution, okay?
Yes. Very quickly,
Sorry, Peter, can you take the mic?
Yeah.
Very quickly, the parcel is 5 acres in size, and it was encumbered with many different streams and watercourses. And to achieve an approval on this particular project, we had to create a building which had a net zero impervious footprint. The lead-in of this is that the building will now have a green roof. It also has permeable pavement for the access way and the driveways, and has extensive amount of plantings necessary to mitigate encroachments on streams on the left side, the right side, and the middle. In addition, there's a large improvement proposed in the front of the property as part of the mitigation plan of work within the buffer, and we're building a pondscape with many different plantings in the front of the building to eliminate invasive species which were present along the property. We're trying to keep as many trees as we can, but most of the site will become new plantings as depicted on the drawings. And the building itself literally is a 2-story building, 5,000 feet over 5,000, and we're utilizing pastel colors to accent both the architecture and also to hide an intricate roof irrigation system which is moving up and down in these white columns on the building. So what you're looking at is pretty much a new milestone presented in the watershed, a project which has zero impervious and 100% water recycling.
Looks good. Any questions from the board?
I've been watching this over the years. I think John's been in a lot of the planning board meetings as well. So I'm excited about this project because I would have said this land was not buildable. So we are holding you to this because it really would be a fantastic demonstration for a lot of other projects in town. So as Tony said, we want to see it look like this.
It will.
Look like
And
a
act like, and really
Right.
no runoff, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you for working on this.
And you work on that, you can work on my face when you're done, okay? Okay, you want to read that?
Yes, certainly.
Oh, sorry, time out.
This is the,
Wait, 1 second. Go ahead, John.
It's a real ambitious project, and it really looks good, and I'm really proud that it's going to be part of our town. I'm just concerned,
Come up a little bit more to the mic so they can hear it too.
there's a lot to maintain the upkeep of this, and I just hope that we have this business in town long enough to make it and be profitable with such a large, ambitious project. That's all. I just hope it all works, and
Just to back up a second, we've utilized the green systems in other projects in the Brookfield area, so it's not a brand new technology. It's been used and tested in this vicinity over about 3 years period. It does function well. And it's mostly automated, that is, the water collected automatically based upon demand through the rain garden system. And everything else on the site is designed in such a manner so it's minimal maintenance. So you're gonna have the rain, the green roof self-watering. All these ponds in the front are collecting all the runoff. So it's pretty much, it's made to be
passive?
self-sufficient.
Good.
But it is being inspected by your wetland inspector
Right.
over a 5-year period. And he is maintaining and ensuring 85% survival rate throughout that entire time period. After that time period is over, it will be, historically, we find after 5 years of monitoring and maintenance, all the plants take well enough to last for a long
That's
time.
awesome. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
And the other thing I would say too is that one problem we've had in town is when substitutions of plantings aren't appropriate. So I assume, because this one really is well balanced, that won't occur here. And I assume too, and a lot of native plants too.
Mr. Coleman has instigated a pretty tight plan, working with the client and ourselves, and he has all those checks and balances, so we don't end up with the wrong species.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Liz?
Okay, this is the Mechanics Architectural Review Board report. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby accepts and approves the report of the Architectural Review Board dated March 15th, 2018, in connection with the application of Mechanics, which seeks to construct a 10,000 square foot commercial building and associated accessory parking facilities at 251 Fields Lane, tax map number 78-2-92 in the town of Southeast Putnam County, New York, a copy of which is annexed hereto and made part hereof, and that such report shall be incorporated in any final site plan subsequently reviewed and approved for this project by the planning board.
Second for discussion.
I'll second, I just wanted to make one quick change. It's 78.-2, just so for the record. And that's.
I'm not reading it, no.
Well, no. it's
So
just-
amended.
Exactly, that's it though. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Peter. Good luck. Okay, number 6, resolution, local law, chapter 103, peddling and soliciting, article 2, food trucks. I'll ask you to read this one as well.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Southeast hereby adopts local law number .2 of 2018, which amends Article Roman numeral 2 of Chapter 103, Section 103-5, parentheses, capital C, close parentheses, of the Town Code to provide that holders of a valid license issued pursuant to Section 32 of the General Business Law of the State of New York will not be required to obtain written permission to vend within state, county, or other municipal thoroughfares within the town of Southeast. And be it further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to A, enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the code book of the town of Southeast, and B, give due notice of the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York within the time required by law.
I'll move it. Is there a second?
I'll second, and it was flawless, Liz.
Why, thank you.
Gee, you never said that about me.
I aim to please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 7, resolution performance bond, ACU LED LLC, 1535 Route 22, tax map number 46.-1-2. Flawless?
That was flawless, congratulations.
Would you mind reading that one as well?
Now therefore be it resolved that the bond amount is hereby established for the project set forth below. Project name, ACU LED, LLC. Bond amount, site improvements, $37,800, erosion and sediment control, $8,500. And be it further resolved that no construction activity shall be commenced until such erosion and sediment control bond is filed with the town clerk, and no certificate of occupancy shall be issued for the subject premises until all site improvements have been completed, or the foregoing site improvement bond is filed with the town clerk. And be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the applicant, planning board secretary, and building inspector forthwith.
I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, it's a resolution authorize supervisor to execute and deliver a 2018 Putnam County Real Property Tax Service contract. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute and deliver to the county of Putnam County Real Property Tax Service contract dated March 1, 2018 for the 2018 tax year in the form and substance annexed hereto, and be further resolved that the town clerk shall forward a copy of this resolution to the assessor forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, it's a resolution requiring a town seal emblem be affixed to all town-owned vehicles. I'll ask you to read this one.
Certainly. Now therefore be it resolved that the town shall permanently affix a town seal/emblem, parentheses, no magnetic signs, close parentheses, on all town-owned motor vehicles prior to being placed into service. And be it further resolved that the town seal shall be no less than 12 inches in diameter, nor shall any town emblem legend with the words Town of Southeast be less than 24 inches in length and 6 inches in height, parentheses, see attached photos to this resolution, close parentheses. And be it further resolved that the town seal/emblem be permanently affixed centered in the middle of both the driver's side exterior front door and passenger side exterior front door. And be it further resolved that any town vehicle which is currently in service and does not meet the criteria of this resolution shall be made to comply within 10 business days from the effective date of this resolution, and that such vehicles shall not be used for any purpose or operated on a public highway until said vehicle has been brought into compliance. And be it further resolved that resolution number 74 of 2017 is hereby suspended, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
I'll move. Is there a second?
Yes, with an amendment, hereby superseded is. In this.
Superseded.
That's.
I'm sorry, superseded.
Other than that, it was flawless.
I thank you, darling.
And I hope this is the last time that we have to do this.
So, okay, that's discussion. Did someone second it on
I'll second.
that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 10 is a resolution contract extension, Peach Lake Sewer District, VRI. Now therefore be resolved that if North Salem shall agree, the town board of the town of Southeast accepts the proposal of VRI Environmental Services, Inc., to provide O&M services for the Peach Lake wastewater treatment facility, and authorizes the supervisor to execute a joint contract with Town of North Salem and VRI for such services commencing April 1, 2018, and be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. I'll move it.
A second.
Discussion?
Tony, is there any indication from Supervisor Lucas on this?
Yes, we're in agreement, that's why it's here
Great,
this evening.
fantastic.
We're just, passing the buck, pass the baton, not the buck, to them.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 11, it's a resolution settlement of certiorari proceedings, broad reach, tax map 46-1-30.22. Would you like to read that one?
Certainly. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with said recommendations for the following. Petitioner, Broad Reach LLC, tax ID 46 period -1 -30 period 22, year 2017, assessment $8,482,300, settled assessment $5,685,000. And be it further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement.
So moved. Is there discussion?
I'll second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 12, resolution settlement of certiorari proceedings, 2226 Adams Place Realty, tax map 56.18-1-2. Would you like to read that?
Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with said recommendations for the following. Petitioner 2226 Adams Place Realty, tax ID 56.81-1-2, year 2017. Assessment, $2,175,000. Settled assessment, $2,055,000. And be it further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement.
I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 13 is a motion to award town dumpster services 3-year contract to Civic. So move for discussion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 14, a motion to adopt the town vehicle policy. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, motion to have all employees sign town vehicle policy. So
Second.
moved. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
16 is a proclamation from Mr. John Velarde, who donated a piece of land to the town. I'm going to struggle through this the best I can. Up at the town park, Castle Park is up on Town Beach, up on Pump House Road. I was up there probably a year ago, and we were talking about, the improvements we were making this year. And Castle Park is here. We have a bunch of new swing sets here. And there was an area that was on mode, maybe from Lynn to myself, or maybe as far as Liz, that was, it was there, but I said, well, why don't we put them closer together instead of having whatever was going on there with the fence? And Levon said to me, we don't own it. I said, there's no way we don't own that. Nope, sure enough, I come back and Lori told me, we don't own it. Well, we do now. So, Mr. Velarde, let me read this here. Mr. Velarde is a prior resident of New Rochelle, New York, and a current resident of McDonough, Georgia. Back on August 24th, 1951, at the young age of 12, Mr. Velarde was gifted a parcel of land from a family friend. This property was 147 Pump House Road, Brewster, New York, tax map number 45.82-1-3, with an assessed valuation of $17,700. Now, 67 years later, Mr. Velarde is exemplifying his graciousness by donating this property to the town of Southeast. And whereas Mr. John Velarde donation of 147 Pump House Road, although a small parcel size, 39 feet by 151 or 0.135 acres, still measures much larger in appreciation for the town and community. This will enable the town of Southeast to now adjoin the adjacent parcels, with this parcel serving as the nucleus to complete an aggregate 5.64 acre parcel, which will add to the beauty and surrounding lake property. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast recognizes and commends Mr. John Velarde upon his donation of this parcel and extends his appreciation and thankfulness for this thoughtful act, and be further resolved that a copy of this proclamation is hereby acknowledged by the town board and shall be forwarded to Mr. John Velarde on this, it has to be changed to the 22nd day for tonight only because of March 2018. Now, we expected to have our meeting on the 8th. I packaged it up, but I didn't send it. Good thing I didn't because, and it's all packaged up. I'm not taking it apart. So officially, the date is March 8th, but today is March 22nd. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Supervisor's report. Again, it's very early stages of the season. The budgets, snow, everything seems to be, is fine. We accounted for enough money during the season. And right now, there's really nothing to report. And we hope they keep that up for the rest of the year. Okay. Recognition of the public. Recognition of town board.
I know we were requested to include in the our board comment to our residents, the fact that it's extraordinarily important for everyone to comply with the 9/11 requirements, that you have recognizable numbers for your home. It's very important that we have these numbers for emergency purposes. Certainly, God forbid there is some kind of a incident or calamity that occurs and you're seeking to have an ambulance and/or fire engines, police, troopers come to your house. Without those numbers on the house that are recognizable, that you can see right away, there could be a delay, and that delay could be disastrous. So we're asking again for everyone to please comply with the 9/11 regulations. Make certain that numbers are recognizable on your house. The more the merrier, so that we don't have any issues for an emergency vehicle's response.
Well, that's the last time I'm going to put my notes on the agenda. You could read them. I put a note to myself because the county did ask us to remind the public about the importance of 911. I don't know if the county knows as much as we do. We've advertised it much. We have it, as was pointed out by Lori earlier today, that we advertise it in our garbage flyer, which is on basically everybody's mailbox, not mailbox, icebox, or refrigerator, however you want to refer to it. I'm old, come on.
Icebox. Holy cow.
Okay.
I tell you what, I call it an icebox more than I do a refrigerator. Don't ask me why I do. At any rate, it's a cooler, fancy cooler. You guys are laughing at me, that's not funny. Okay, any rate, it is a serious matter, and again, a lot of people don't have it. Please do it. The life you may save, as they always say, may be your own. Okay, anyone else on the board?
I do.
Ah,
I know, you're so happy that I wasn't around. I just want to remind everyone, and I'll be reminding them again, that this Earth Day, we have a townwide cleanup. It will be Saturday, April 21st, and Sunday, the 22nd. I can already thank Suburban Carting, who is going to partner with us with gloves and vests, safety vests, and I believe they are going to donate again a dumpster for the garbage that we all pick up. I think this year, I know the roads are really a mess, and it'll be really helpful if the more people that can get involved, the better. I believe there is also going to be a puppet show, which is going to be on
Saturday and Sunday, I think.
Saturday and Sunday, but and this is all going to be on our website. And as usual, you can get bags early and supplies from Highway Department, but I'll have more on that at our next meeting. But I think the more participation, the better. I know, like Milltown Road has always been fantastic, their association on this. So I would urge everyone to get involved this year.
good.
I just wanted to let everyone know that we had some difficult times the last couple of weeks with the storms. And there were supplies here at Town Hall. Tony was here most days or every day that was necessary to give out ice, hot or dry ice, and also water. This room was available for charging cell phones and other things. So in the event of another storm or emergency like that, please know that the town hall is open and available.
Thanks. No. I'm here, so it doesn't matter. One of the most interesting things that I had during that storm, and I thought it was really unusual, when the lady came in, she wanted to charge her phone, and she said, could you charge these? And she gave me, a flying saucer is about that big, and it was about this fat. And she said, would you put those in your microwave for me? I looked at her and said, put them in the microwave? Yeah, they're for my cat. I'd never heard of such a thing. So it was a piece of plastic, it was a flying saucer. She had it wrapped up in a paper towel, and I had to cook them for 7 minutes.
And then after that, he had to put them in the icebox.
No, the refrigerator.
Oh, excuse me.
No.
I don't even want to know what it does for the cat.
Well, it
do
has
I?
to warm them up.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know how long it stays warm, but if you heat it up for 7 minutes in the microwave, it lasts for a certain period of time. So she was very thoughtful for her cats. And I do want to thank everybody for their patience during the storm.
Storms.
Well, yeah, numerous storms. You know, whether it was the county or elected officials, state level. I never heard more from the governor's office in my life. But everyone's concerned. And the human factor is everyone was concerned about the neighbors. I had many phone calls when I was here. You know, they were concerned about their neighbors and whatever, and we pointed in whatever direction we could. County took a big part. I don't want to start mentioning names, but there were many areas I provided with a freezer. How's that? A freezer?
There you
Good
go.
now in the past. Where, you know, business offered their freezer. People offered their showers such as the schools and things of that nature, UCB. I didn't want to start mentioning, but it was a tremendous effort on everyone's part. You know, looking back, I say, geez, where did the time go? It was only a week ago, and it seems like it was a month ago, to me at least, at this point in time. But it was really good. Everyone got together, and the lines of communication were open. Not everything went as planned, as you know, but it's a storm that was unpredictable, and just let's hope we don't get any more nor'easters for this year or any time in the future. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming.
you.